Hello and welcome to probably the only Preptober writing vlog this month for reasons, but I'm Liselle Sambury. I'm a traditionally published author, and this week I'm going to be working on prepping for the Newlyweds, which I've already written, but I need to do some editing on. So the Newlyweds is my adult horror / thriller. I do have more of a pitch now to share with you. Someone in, I think it was the Blood Like Magic spoiler show live, they wanted to know more about this project because I didn't have a pitch and I was just like, it's a home invasion. Now I have more of a pitch. So it's about a couple who are having a kind of rocky relationship issues, and they decide to trial this house to see if they want to buy it. It's in rural Ontario in a place they've never lived, and they want to like feel out what it is to live there before they agree to just buy this house there. And so it's also kind of a trial for their relationship to see if it's even worth it for them to continue to be together, much less purchase a house. However, things get even more rocky when there is a break-in and they are held captive by people who seem to think that they have some sort of information, which they do not have, or do they? But anyway, some sort of information, and that they are doing something secret with the homeowners, and now they are wondering who exactly are these people that they were prepared to buy this house from, what's going on in this town, and also some of the secrets they have been keeping from each other start to become exposed as well. And so that is the Newlyweds. They are not actually newlyweds, but it's very grating for them because people keep thinking they are, and they're having this rocky relationship and relationship troubles. And so that's why it's called the Newlyweds, because people keep asking them if they're newlyweds and they're not. And every time they're asked it, it like recreates friction. So yeah, that is the Newlyweds. And so I got my beta reader feedback and I've gone through it. It was great. And I was like very happy and pleasantly surprised that everyone enjoyed it, like really enjoyed it. And so that was really good. Because I was so self-conscious about this story and like everything I had going on, and like the thing that I thought would be really polarizing, I think still could be, but all the people that read it really, really enjoyed it. So I do think it's going to be that sort of twist where either people are really going to love it or people are really going to not like it, and I'm totally okay with that now at this point, because I'm like, okay, I think the people who like it are really going to love it, so then I'm totally fine with that. So I'm feeling more confidence in this story, which I'm really happy about. And so now I have to go forward with it. So this is the whole thing. I finally just emailed my agent. I emailed Christy and I was like, how long should a horror thriller be? Just so I could know what I should be shooting for. Excuse me, sorry. And in my heart of hearts, I hoped that she would say 60,000, but she said 80,000 to 90,000. So I've decided to make it a goal to reach 70,000 words on this project. It is currently at 47,000 words, so almost 50,000 words. I made it a goal to reach 70,000 words because I still want this story to be shorter. I like that it is shorter and fast paced. I love the idea that people could read this in a day. And so my hope is if I aim for 70,000 words, once me and Christy do our edits, we'll end up with something closer to 80,000 words. And then fingers crossed, if it is purchased, then we can also bump it closer to that word count, versus me like doing it all now and then ending up with something that's like way closer to 90,000 words, which isn't what I want at all. I want this to be a shorter book. So that's my goal, which means I have to add 12 chapters. And I have to figure out how I'm going to do that. So that's what this Preptober vlog is all about. It is about me planning to figure out how the heck I'm going to add 20,000 words to this manuscript. And so I'm hoping my NaNoWriMo plan, but this will also depend on my edits for Butcherbirds, which is my 2023 book. So I thought my edits were going to come this week, but then they're actually going to be pushed to next week. So like if I can't get them done before November starts, I am going to have to use some of NaNoWriMo to work on those edits. But my plan for NaNoWriMo as a whole is I want to do a fast draft for the newlyweds of those 20,000 words. So I want to spend 1 week in NaNoWriMo drafting those 20,000 words and 1 week of NaNoWriMo going through the manuscript and doing an edit and polish of all the new material and the story as a whole. And so I want to do a half NaNoWriMo, so not working on that project the whole month, but just for half of it, because of circumstances and timelines with my agent, I really do want to get it to her in November, by latest mid-November. And so that's why I've created that sort of timeline for myself instead of using the whole of November. I don't know, maybe things will be flexible, maybe that will change, but that's kind of my plan. And then I don't have any idea what I'm going to do for the other half of November. That's completely up in the air, but I just need to focus on the newlyweds. So either way, like, that is what I'm hoping to focus on for Nano, but I just may end up working on other things in between. So this is going to be like definitely a Nano Rebel type of NaNoWriMo month. But those are my plans. That's what I've been working on so far. I've been working on what subplots I want to add. I think I also just need to figure out a big action plot that's going to be happening in the middle to take up more space, because a lot of the subplots I think are like things that could really be weaved into what is already there, and I can't have that happening. I need new chapters. I need a new full chunk of something else happening. So I'm gonna try and figure that out.
Where do the clouds go, baby? I don't know. Maybe they'll be back tomorrow, we will know. How many times do I have to tell you? Early in the morning, you're beautiful too. Early in the morning, you're beautiful too. Counting the grains of sand upon the beach, somehow that number is always out of reach. How can I tell you the way you make me feel? All of my thoughts begin and end with you. All of my thoughts begin and end with you. I know you like you know me, you know that I know you. I know you like you know me, you know that I know you. Where does the wind blow? Baby, I don't know. But there is a place, I can't tell you where for sure. Falling asleep to rain upon the roof. All of my dreams begin and end with you.
Hello, it is Wednesday. Things are going well. I'm feeling positive. I feel rejuvenated. I feel like things are so much better now, which if you watched like my last vlog, I was working on a different project, but I was like very unmotivated. Things were not really going well. And then I took 2 weeks off. Those last 2 weeks I took off of writing to focus on preparing for a workshop I was doing with Fold. So I was doing a social media for authors workshop. So I took 2 weeks off writing just to focus on preparing for that. And now I'm back and I feel strengthened. I feel like I have motivation to get going. I feel like I have more ideas that I didn't have the last time I tried to revise. I feel like the last time I tried to add more words, I just like couldn't come up with any ideas. And now I feel like I have all of these ideas that are just like springing from my brain, and it's great. It's honestly great. But so essentially yesterday, what I did, I spent like the morning reading, oh yes, I'm gonna say, because I was reading a book, so I was reading The Confessions of Franny Langton. I'm still reading that for Black Oweenathon. If you don't know about Black Oweenathon, I'll put a link below, but you're basically like reading black authored horror, mystery, thriller, horror books. So I've been participating in that. It's been really fun. It's been like cool to like read backlist and read more by Black authors in those specific genres, because I do read a lot of Black authors, but usually in like fantasy and not so much in those genres, which I wanted to read more of, so I'm happy to be doing that. So that's the book I was reading. So yesterday, what I did after reading was that I basically like looked at my chapter summaries. So I have chapter summaries for all of my books because it helps me with revising, because then I don't have to read through the whole book. I can know, okay, this is what happens in this chapter, this is what happened in this chapter. It's just like a sentence basically of what happens in the chapter. So I basically looked at those and I just tried to find places where I could add new chapters. So I tried to add 12 chapters. I ended up adding 11 instead, which is fine because I can just make them somewhat longer and I'll still be able to hit that word count goal. So basically I figured out that I didn't want to add any more chapters to the first act. So my balance with this book is that I really like how fast paced it is, and the thing about the first act is like there are things happening in the first act, but I just feel like if I added anything to that first act, it would suddenly become slow. And that's absolutely not what I want. I want this book to be breakneck speed. And the middle is really that, like something is happening basically every single chapter in the middle. But that first act is more of a building dread. And so I don't want to add new chapters there. And so I decided I was going to add 8 new chapters. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, so 8 chapters to the middle, so to the second act, and then I was going to add 3 chapters to the third act, which I feel like could seem weird to like make the third act so much larger when really the third act and the first act are usually the same size pacing wise if you're going based on Save the Cat. But based on like beta feedback, there's like more stuff happening in the third act, and like there were things that the readers didn't think was quite explained as it should have been, and so I think it needs more time in the third act, and so I'm fine with adding more chapters there as long as I like keep up the action, and I found a way to do that, so that's great. And so the second act I added 4 chapters. Or did I do it the other way around? I think I did. So I had 4 chapters before the midpoint and 4 chapters after the midpoint, essentially. I did that, and I basically just just looked for opportunities where something could happen that could produce more chapters. So basically like I was like, oh, what if like a different character comes in at this point and then they're added to the fray and then these things happen? And what if this character has more of this time? Like I have a second POV character. They originally had only 1 chapter, now they have like 4 chapters, and so I basically just did that. It was like, it honestly, when I was doing it, it felt extremely chaotic. But I was like, this is going to work out. I just have to believe this is going to work out and trust the process. And then today, what I did was I basically like bullet point, like more specifically planned out what exactly is going to happen in those chapters. And it's working out. It's coming together. It's slotting into the thing I already have pretty well. I just need to like make some tweaks here and there. But it's feeling like it's becoming part of the original story. And what I worried about in like having to now add chapters to a story that felt like it was complete is I was concerned about it feeling like parts of it were tacked on, and that they didn't quite fit, and then I had to force them to fit. But these things I've added actually like meld in quite well, and I think they're adding more layers and depth and really more twists also and turns to the book, which like it already has a lot of twists and turns, but like even more now. So I'm really pleased about how things are going down. I feel like I finally have some, like, my brain is actually producing legitimate ideas instead of just being like, I don't know what to put in there. So I'm really happy about that. So I did half of those chapter bullet points. So tomorrow on Thursday, I'm going to do the other half. And then on Friday, I'm basically going to take everything I have and add bullet notes into the other chapters, because there's a bunch of stuff that's going to have to change in other chapters to support the new subplots and to support the new chapters. And I just need to make note of what all of those things are going to be, so that when I'm going through editing chronologically later, which I don't know what I'm going to do. But anyway, so when I'm going through and doing all of that, it just makes sense together. So that is my plan, and I will check in back with you on Friday.
All of my dreams begin and end with you. I know you like you know me, you know that I know you. I know you like you know me, you know that I know you. Like you know me, you know that I know you. Even in my sleep, I see you in my dreams. Beauty so free. You're all.
Hello. I wanted to be in a different spot, so I decided I would lounge here against my desk. Anyway, it's not Friday. It's Thursday, but I figured it was better to, like, interlude with this. And yeah, than to, like, try and shove everything into Friday's update. So today, long story short, today I'm not doing any work. So today I was aware that I had some secret news that was going to come. And the secret news that I was aware of was that Indigo released their top 10 books of 2021, and they did it for age categories as well. So they have a teen top 10 books of 2021, and Blood Like Magic is on there. It's number 8, which is exciting. And so that's what I knew was going to happen today. And I was really excited about sharing that. I'm still really excited about sharing that. I'm really happy about that. But yeah, so I knew that was coming today. I almost vague tweeted about it last night, but I refrained. And I felt really proud of myself for refraining from vague tweeting, or Instagramming rather. And so I woke up while I was semi-awake and my phone kept vibrating, and I was like, oh, they must have released like the top 10 list. And then I picked up my phone and I was like scrolling through the tweets, and I was like, wait, this is something different. And then I saw a tweet from E.K. Johnston being like, wake up. And I was like, I'm awake, what's happening? And so I scrolled more and I realized that Blood Like Magic had been named a finalist for the Governor General's Literary Awards, which at the time I didn't know much about. My publisher submitted me to a bunch of awards. This is like a natural thing that publishers do, to my knowledge, in traditional publishing. They'll submit your name to a bunch of awards. So I kind of filled out one form and sent it to my publishers, and then they went about their business. But I hadn't really thought anything about awards. But then that popped up, and my book is a finalist, and it is like, in Canada, it's like a pretty big deal, which I didn't realize. But it's really exciting. It comes from the Canada Council of the Arts, which I have talked about here before because I got a grant from them to write the NEWLYWEDS. So I had already been involved in some way in the Canada Council of the Arts, but they also host these awards. And so, yeah, it's really amazing. My book is in the young literature text category, but it's really, really exciting. And then like, I got a bunch of emails about that. I immediately had 2 interviews that were booked right away. So I had one just before I started filming this, and I have one after I'm filming this. And then I just like was in such a state of shock over being a finalist for the whole day. I was just like, I can't work under these conditions. I was like, there's no way I can stand up at the computer and now just like jump into working on my story like nothing. So I just figured it was probably best to just take the day off and like, you know, be excited and celebrate. But yeah, it's really, really exciting for me. It's just, and I was talking about this in my prior interview, I really didn't like have any expectations of things like awards. Like, I was just really excited about getting to bring into the world a book that I really hoped people would read and enjoy, just like purely as a fantasy, but also like feel represented as well by the different sorts of characters and the setting and all of that stuff. And I really just like, my greatest hope was just for people to enjoy the book. I really wasn't thinking about things like award wins, because it feels so like, it's not even that like unachievable. It just like, it's so out of your control. Like, I wouldn't have even thought about it. And it's not like, you know, anyone was like, this book is good. Well, family and friends always say stuff like, you're going to be a bestseller and oh my gosh, you're going to win awards and stuff like that. But that's family. They just like, they love you. They're excited about your stuff. And so they think you're the best. But yeah, really unexpected, but really happy about that. It's really exciting to me to see my story acknowledged in that way. And I really hope that more people are able to like see it and read it as well. And so, yeah, it's just really, really exciting. Yeah, and I'm just very grateful and I'm very thankful to, you know, everybody that's helped me with this book, because so many people have helped me with this book, you know, beta readers and all of that sort of thing, and then the publisher and all of their efforts and things like that. So yeah, I just wanted to come on so that I could talk about this here in this one clip, and then tomorrow we're just gonna talk about my updates for the story. But on the back of that, and you're not going to hear this technically early, but you're in the space of real time, you're hearing this technically early. But Blood Like Magic has also been nominated for a White Pine Award, which is something I plan to announce tomorrow. So this was another secret thing that I had known about. White Pine is like the young adult category. So yeah, it's really exciting for that as well. But I knew about that like a month ago. So I knew about that like a month ago. The same with the Indigo thing. I knew about that like a month ago. So I feel like I had a lot of time to have everything sink in. Whereas the Governor General, this has come out of nowhere. So that's why I need all this extra time. But it's really, really exciting. I'm really happy and appreciative and humbled to see my little book get that sort of acclaim and attention. So yeah, that's it from me. I don't know what I'm doing. This is embarrassing. Goodbye.
All I'll ever need, how can I explain the way you make me feel? All that I can say is I know you. Like you know me, you know that I know you. I know you. Like you know me, you know that I know you. I know you. Like you know me, you know that I know you. I know you. Like
it is the end of the vlog. I had to film something before this, and that's why I look nice with like makeup and stuff. I don't know why whenever I come on here and I like have makeup on and I like actually look like really nice, like not like I just like rolled out of bed, I feel like I need to explain myself, but I really don't. Anyway, it is Friday. It has been an end of week. Yeah. But we talked about that in the last clip, so don't need to discuss it more. A very, very exciting end of week. I've been really happy and excited. And to add to my happiness and excitement, I have finished planning out all the new chapters and all the edits that I need to do on the Newlyweds, which I'm so happy about. So yesterday I didn't work, as I shared in that clip. So today I was like, man, I gotta do like 2 days worth of work. And I had planned to do like work in the morning and in the afternoon, but then I just finished everything in the morning. And I was like, oh, I didn't need as much time for this as I thought I did. So I have everything planned out, and I'm feeling really positive about it. Maybe just because I'm in a positive, excited week, but I'm feeling really happy about it. So I think the great thing about like how I just like, it was very chaotic the way that I just like was like, I'll just make this happen and then we'll do this happen. But now everything has flowed together really well, and I've added all of these layers into it. And then I went to double check my beta reader feedback just to make sure I was adding in everything that they had suggested. And like some of the stuff they had suggested, it just naturally came into the things that I had planned in order to add scenes and add words and that sort of thing. So I'm starting to feel the complicated layers. And in my previous vlogs, I talked about that. I talked about how this book felt fun and I was really excited about all of the twists, but I felt like it was lacking the depth that I have in my other books, in my YA work, because I find that my YA stuff always has all of these different layers of things that are going on and like things that I'm talking about. And now that I've planned all of these things to add in, I can feel those layers coming into it now. So even though I was like, the book is done and now I have to add more words, and like it's like kind of a little bitch about it. It's helpful. I totally, like, I get it. I feel like adding these words is really helping. I think it's going to really add a depth to all of the characters that wasn't necessarily present in all of them before. I find some things that like were a little bit shaky in like making sense now have a much like firmer foothold. It makes a lot more sense. I also feel like this has added more depth to the male character I have in the story, who I worried was a bit flat, but actually all my readers really liked him. So I was like, oh yay, never mind. But I've added more to him that I think will be helpful. And I've got that second perspective, which I'm interested to see how that'll all come together, because I am still worried about the balance of that. It's very hard with this story because the twist just, it really switches things up, and it's really hard to explain / pitch this story without mentioning it, because I can't mention it because it's a giant spoiler. So but yeah, I'm excited. I think that will clear up, because most of the questions my CPs, sorry, not CPs, well, technically CPs, I sometimes anyway, beta readers, the questions my readers had are answered a lot by adding in that POV, and I think I'll be able to iron out that voice when I'm going into it, because I'm not super familiar with that voice because I only did it for 1 chapter, and now I'm doing it for like 4 or 5 chapters. But yeah, I'm really excited. So this is going to be the NaNo project. I'm meant to be getting my edit letter for Butcherbirds sometime either today or Monday, I think. So it'll depend on that. If that gets pushed again, then like maybe I'll just start writing it now, because I would rather have this done sooner rather than later. But the current plan for NaNoWriMo is that I will work on this for those first 2 weeks of it. And as I've been working on this, I've started to wonder if maybe the adult horror that I wrote originally wasn't actually as trash as I thought it was. So right now I'm thinking what I might do for the rest of NaNoWriMo is I might revisit it and read it over to see like what I think of it and to see what I think of like the way that I was going to plan to go forward to it, just to see if there's something salvageable there. I don't think I'll be writing it this year, but I would like to know if I want to salvage it, because depending on how things with the Newlyweds goes, if that's sold, and if that's sold, for example, in a 2-book deal, could I go back to 6 Days and 5 Nights and make something of that for that purpose? So that's kind of where my head is at of why I want to revisit it. So that might be something I do in NaNoWriMo as well. But essentially it's going to be like my most chaotic Nano ever. With, I guess, the exception of last year, because last year I just like straight up like started writing something, then gave up, then just like did whatever. But the whatever I did was I worked on the proposal for Bear Hunt, so I did do something actually like productive. But anyway, I'm determined to, at the very least, NaNoWriMo, I will work on this. So very excited about all the progress that's going to be made there. I'm really excited that I had a productive week and I actually like got done what I wanted to get done. So yeah, that's basically it for me. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to me already, please subscribe. Next week, there will be a special video, I think, I'm pretty sure. And then the week after that, I'll have another writing vlog, and it'll either be me working on Butcherbird's edits or it'll be me working on the Newlyweds again. We will see. It will be a surprise for all of us. And so thank you so much for watching. Bye.
You know that I know you.